Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trail, your weekly look at all things Hong Kong and international racing with the best form analysts in the business. That guy, Glenn Hutchison, and the other guys in the Hall of Fame, one of the greatest jockeys we've ever seen, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, the world, in Raymond, Shane, Dye. Hello Hutch, lovely to see you.
And you too, Richo. What a weekend of racing we have. The Dubai World Cup meeting. We've got a number of Group 1 races up in Sydney and plenty to get through in Hong Kong as well with a look back to last week. So can't wait. And Zac Purton on the show. How good.
Yeah, Zac Purton's our very special guest. And from a Whirlpool point of view, we'll have our eyes on Sydney. Shane, this is a meeting that over the years you dominated, including a lazy 6 sires, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I won a few of those in 10 years. It was a pretty easy race for me to win, actually. I won a couple of Doncasters, a Derby, but my day actually was Golden Slipper Day. That day was always unbelievable for me, but this was a good day for me also.
Yeah, just keeping on the good work throughout the carnivals over the years. We do actually forget that he wasn't in Australia all that long. And he just got a lazy 90 Group 1s or something up his sleeve, and then he took off.
Yeah, he did.
To Hong Kong.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's not a bad record.
I don't want to talk positive.
Hey, who does that remind you of soon?
Oh, yeah, well, hang on. Just keep your powder dry. We'll mention the Super Freak a little later on. Hey, this is what we did last week.
But my best will be Fast Network. I thought he'd be tough to beat. Of course, like the booking of Huey Bowman. Good little sprint race.
Fast Network is speeding away. This is why he's 1.4. Fast Network, he's just a fast horse. Fast Network has bolted in.
My next best will be a horse that made our Sid file, South Star. I think he looks third up, ready to go, and it's a very winnable race for him.
South Star's in front. Happy Universe goes past He Was You, but South Star is too good.
If you like weights and ratings, then he's clearly the best rated horse of the whole meeting.
Alabama Lass, 100 metres to go. Still a length in front. Gallant Sun wearing it down, but it's the Kiwi Flyer holding on, and Alabama Lass beat Gallant Sun.
I just think there'll be enough tempo on that a tissue and light infantry man might be able to charge it.
Light infantry man's out toughing them. 100 metres to go. A length and 3/4, and it's light infantry man. Brutally run race, but light infantry man's the stronger.
Lots to reflect on. Hutch, let's have a look at HUTCHI'S Honkers. How has the month of March been?
Terrible. One of our worst months ever, to be honest. And I think part of it was a function of we had a lot of volatility in the riding ranks in terms of jockeys out. So I think it made it difficult in terms of, new jockeys there and trying to analyse, how races would be run. So I had a poor month, but overall we're still batting in a positive, which is good, and I'm expecting us to bounce back. But, I think that was one factor anyway and why we had a low month. But you can't always have winning months, Richo, unfortunately.
I know, it's rare that you have a losing month, but that's what we do. We hold ourselves accountable.
You do? Yeah, in 6 years, that would be probably one of the worst months we've had, but wasn't easy.
Anyway, shake it off, big
boy.
boy.
We don't worry about that.
No, shake it off. It's done. Hey, Zac Purton is our special guest. Really looking forward to Zac arriving. And I think Hong Kong racing have really missed him.
Yes.
Just missed every part of him.
We have.
We certainly have.
I know who hasn't missed him. Brendan Novella.
Yeah, Brendan Novella is one that hasn't missed him, but there's a few others that enjoyed while he was away. But for us as fans of Hong Kong racing, it's great to have him back. Let's find some winners on Sunday at Sha Tin. Let's start with race number 7. Hutch, who have you got on top?
Well, this race is, thin of chances, to be perfectly honest. I think if Voyage Samurai is going to be very short, I think he'll be shorter than what price I've got him. Helene Feeling's got some sort of a case to be there, maybe winning Dragon, but small field, not much tempo. We have seen these horses compete against each other, and this was, of course, on a rain-affected track. And I think, if Voyage Samurai gets the lead, Shane, he looks a tough one to get past again. I don't think he'll get too much pressure. He's got pretty good form over the mile, and he's met a few of these horses on a couple of occasions and just been too good. The margin may have flattered him here in the conditions, but look, he's pretty good on top of the ground as well.
He's definitely going to get a soft lead, Clint. You've only got, realistically looking at it, Winning Dragon or maybe Woodfire Bro who could take him on. I think he wins. He's just going to lead and win. It's not hard to work this one out. Woodfire Bro was very disappointing last start, but it was on the wet track, so that might have been an excuse for him, because I thought he was going a little bit better than his form reads, and he's going to be very big odds on his last run. So back onto a good track, he might go a little bit better, but I've definitely got a Voyage Samurai on top. Here's Helene Feeling, who's been racing very well and consistently, Clint.
He has, and I think he's the other one that can bounce and put himself on a spot. The concern for me is he will just concede weight, of course, to Voyage Samurai, and when they start to build into the race, he might not quite have that turn of foot, but he's racing well. He's a quality horse, but he's got the weight as a consequence. So, yeah, there won't be a lot of meat on the bone in this race. I think Voyage Samurai will be tough to beat. He'll probably get the lead. He'll get his own way. And I don't see any of the chasing pack, really. They're not in the best of form necessarily, so he looks as though he'll be hard to beat.
So, Shane, you've got him on top clearly as well.
Oh, easy. He'll be odds on. I've got the 5 on top from Helene Feeling, the 1 and Winning Dragon, the 3, actually same as Clint, but I would feel that everyone's got that.
Right, okay, so 5, 1 and 3 for both. It's going to be identical order. I didn't really even need to write them down.
No.
They very much picked themselves, but I have anyway, just to hold ourselves accountable. Let's go back a race number 6 at Sha Tin on Sunday. Who do you like?
This is an interesting race, of course, because Lifeline Express, who took a long time to get that win on the board, he was luckless, but he finally got it last start, and he beat Geneva, and they match up again. The conditions will be different, and Lopan Spirit actually comes out of the same race with a newcomer winning Ovation. Now, this is Lifeline Express. Shane, I thought he loved the conditions, but he'd been knocking on the door. We know he's as good on top of the ground. Little weight swing probably in favour of Geneva, and I think these two, I don't think there'll be much between them, but Lopan Spirit's interesting with Zac on board. He can jump, press forward, and he probably might have a slightly better run in conditions which he would prefer this time around.
Yeah, well, Lopan Spirit got caught 4 wide up there and battled on really well. Coming back in distance has helped him. I think the second horse, Geneva, meets him 7 pounds better. Not sure whether it's going to help. Well, it's definitely going to help him, but I'm not sure whether it can turn it round. I think Lifeline Express can race closer from gate 1, and Geneva's got gate 2, and it can race closer, but it seems to go better Clint ridden back, doesn't it? So if they ride it closer, does it take away its finishing sprint? I would probably say yes. So it's an interesting runner, but Lifeline Express looks very hard to beat from gate 1. It's just going to get the best run of all time.
Well, there are a number of newcomers in the race as well. Winning Ovation, King of Dubai and Savvy Warrior all took part in a recent trial. Of course, King of Dubai's had a run already, but here they are highlighted. And the one of the trio that come back into this race, Winning Ovation, raced in the UK, Nascimento for Michael Bell, won at Salisbury, competed at Royal Ascot in the Coventry, finished midfield there. But he's the one out of this heat that you'd probably be most interested in. He closed off quite nicely. But that said, 5% or roughly of private purchases, RICHO in Hong Kong win on debut. It's not easy. We've probably increased.
Surprised, only 5.
Yeah, but it's probably increased since they've allowed some of them to come in a little lower rated. So now in those low 60s in Class 3, and it's probably helped that overall strike rate. But it's difficult. It is not easy to go in and win. So I'm going to stick with the tried and true form, and I'll be with Lifeline Express narrowly on top of Geneva, but it'll be a good little race.
Yeah, I'm keen to watch that Winning Ovation. Shane, who have you got on top?
Oh, Lifeline Express, the same. It's not hard. Everyone will be having these 2 on top. From Geneva and 8, Lopan Spirit, and they picked themselves.
Yeah, so same trifecta in order. You two are seeing it very similarly.
Yep.
So the punters will be very confident about that. We get to race number 10. Who do you like?
That we do. Good race. It's really can't wait to see this horse, Sky Jewelry. I think he'll be probably shorter than what I have him in my early rated price, but Flying Luck arrives in winning form, up in grade. Glorious Success, back to the turf will help. Ching actually ran a decent race recently, and I think he can improve. This was a terrific run from Sky Jewelry, Shane. He's still green. He's still learning what it's all about. The tempo of the race, they were well out. It was a wet track. The heavy rain had fallen, so the second half of the meeting, it was rain affected, but more so in this race, tempo. They were well outside of standard. It developed into a sprint home. Hodlock Golf had a winning profile leading in, and he just he just did so well to get as close as he did. And I know it's a horse that you've got a big opinion of as well. You flagged next year's Derby for this horse potentially.
I love him. I think he's very good. You only got to look at his stride. He's got a huge stride on him and he just wants to win. I know he didn't there, but Brendan just lost his rein when he ran in. He's going to be very hard to beat. He'll be odds on for sure. I can't see how he can't be, Clint. I think he's going to start shorter. He should be winning. He's got Yui back on. He knows him. But he's just a lovely horse. The mile suits him. He goes from the 1400 to the mile and that can only benefit him.
That track was wet. He still ran the fourth best final 400 of 22.38, and it was off a steady tempo. This horse is going about it the right way. Of course, Brenton Avdulla was also on flying luck, and a lot of jockeys had tried to get the win on this horse. He needed speed, he got it, but he produced him beautifully here, and this horse is definitely one to consider, but he also lacks a bit of early pace, Shane.
He's racing really well, never goes bad. He got a very good ride that day. He's going to be there somewhere, but I don't think he's as good as the other horse. And, of course, that was his Class 4, and now he's going to Class 3.
What do we make of Starmac? Of course, Brenton Avdulla does ride this horse. Not sure he would have had the option for the others, but Starmac's going okay. He's another back marker. I don't know with him. What did you make of his chances?
Well, you know what you get. You're going to get a horse who gets back and runs on. Whether he wins or runs fourth or fifth is debatable, but he's going to get back. He's going to run on. His last run was only 1400. He definitely wants the mile. He won't be far away.
Yeah, I can see him coming with Sky Jewellery there. Shane, who have you got? You got Sky Jewellery on top?
Sky Jewellery on top from Starmac, of course, the three I've got, and then I'll go for Flying Luck.
Okay.
The 10, who's racing well.
So all three races that we've previewed, and of course, check out HUTCHI'S Honkers, subscribe now. The team have gone identical.
Yeah, let's hope
let's have a little.
Let's hope we're seeing it right.
A little multi.
It
sounds absolutely.
I like it.
Sounds perfect. Time for us to straighten up. I'm going to go and put a tie on because our star power guest is about to arrive, Mr. Zac Purton.
La Forza, those moved up to Super Fortune. Circuit Jolly and Horsepower. It's La Forza in front of Circuit Jolly. And then came Aurora Patch running on, but Zac's back winning. He's back in the saddle today, and it didn't take him too long. La Forza has won. But down past the 150, Ka Ying Rising is 5 in front of Lucky With You and Helios Express. He's being eased down. Bring on the world next month. He's ready to take you on. Ka Ying Rising. Ewan Long Elite, the leader. He's a length clear over Another World, Spicy Gold. Then Magnificent 9 and Storming Dragon. Ewan Long Elite, the favourites at him now. Another World, the favourites past him. It's Another World over Ewan Long Elite and Magnificent 9. And Another World wins the last. Purton back with a treble.
So good to have him back, and World Racing's better for it. Zac Purton, our star power guest. Welcome back, Zac. By gee, everyone in Hong Kong racing's missed you, mate. It must have been a great feeling to be back.
Yeah, it certainly was. It's never easy sitting on the sidelines, especially watching all those horses that I've been preparing for months and months and months step out and win the races that they were winning. So it was good to be back, and it was good to come back on a nice day like that, riding such a special horse as well.
And jumping on that superstar. And that's what he is. Hope you cleaned your boots before you jumped on.
I didn't need to clean my boots after. I know that.
Well, it was easy, Zac, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And the scary thing is he just keeps getting better and better. As David says, he just goes home after every race and licks the feed bin out. He's the only horse that he takes home from every race meeting that eats all his feed. So he's handling his racing really, really well. He's mentally on a race day as well. He's getting a lot better. He parades better. Even though he's walking quite fast around the parade ring, he's not jogging and sweating like he used to. He walks around behind the gates like an old pro, and then he's just doing everything right. Once the gates open, he's got that good gate speed. He can relax. Although on this occasion, he wanted to just get on the bit a little bit because California Spangle wasn't going as fast as I would have liked. But he still handled that, and when he come out, I pressed the button, let him go, and mate, the way he drops these horses, and these are pretty good horses, you know, he's doing such a good job.
I mean, that's the interesting part for me because obviously he's run in December. where the tempo was a bit steady, and it was probably his worst performance of the season. Well, it was his worst performance of the season, but you did have one eyeballing you out wide. But this occasion, you came off a steady tempo, and you literally put the race to bed in a matter of strides. Like, it was just, so he showed that he can sort of do it either way.
Yeah, exactly. His prep going into December was a little bit different to what it normally can be, because it was 4 weeks between runs. He didn't have that barrier trial 10 days out. And I think that probably had some small effect in his performance as well. He was slow to step from the gate, so I had to ride him along, and then he was eyeballed by that horse outside in 3 wide. He never got to relax. So I think there are a few circumstances there to warrant his performance just dipping a little bit. But since then, he's got back into his routine, trialling 10 days out, bouncing out the gates, doing everything right, and he's just been explosive. But I think physically he's got better. He looks better. He's starting to get dapples now. Like I say, he's maturing with his brain and the way he's handling things and being able to absorb things. He's a perfect little racehorse, really. Like, he's so good to do anything with, and he's in his box. He's a little teddy bear. It's not like some of these good horses can get savage in their box, like Beauty Generation you wouldn't go in the box with, Golden 60 you wouldn't go in the box with. And there were other horses as well that have been at the top of the game here that have been a little bit aggressive in the box, but this guy's the complete opposite. He loves the attention. He loves getting a pat and a cuddle, and we all love him.
See, Richo, nice guys don't always run last.
Yeah, that's right. It's good news. It's good news for me, not so good for you. Hey, Golden Boy, how did that rate for you and for Hutchie with your ratings? That looked like a little jog in the park to me, the untrained eye. How did it rate that performance compared to his other ones?
Well, it's the first race Zac hasn't had to bustle him out of the gates, and he's come out on his own without doing too much. And I know the overall time wasn't one of his fastest, but he actually come home the fastest 400 he ever has in his career. So why has he come home so fast? It was because Zac didn't have to bustle him as much. He was ultra impressive. If he gets away with races like that anywhere in the world, anytime, he is unbeatable, just unbeatable. But he's practically unbeatable in any race anyway if they go fast. He's a champion. I said that from a long time ago, and I never use that word. He's outstanding, that horse.
Exactly. On that note, and what Shane said is, I know the Everest is a big talk. I know Hazy's been talking it up. I know I imagine it's a race that you'd also love to win. Has there been any progress? I know the card's always pretty close to the chest with regard to this, but has there been any more talk?
Well, it's going to happen. And David was in the latter stages of finalising a deal, but Winfred, our CEO at the Jockey Club, has come in and he wants to just make sure that it's going to be handled properly. So he's sort of dealing with it these days. I'm not sure where it's at, but it's going to happen. He's definitely coming, and we're looking forward to it. That's exciting.
Have you seen anything in Sydney that worries you, Zac, or anything around the world maybe that worries you?
In Sydney or in Australia, obviously Private Harry and Briasa and Jolly Star look like they're the 3 main leading contenders at the moment. And I'll be interested to see how they race on Saturday. I'll be there. I'll probably come out to the parade ring and have a look at them and just see how they all parade. It's a shame I didn't get to ride one of them in the race to get a better feel of how they would all match up. But, they all look like they're heading that way.
Yeah, mate. We tried to book you for our horse that's running at Cranbourne on Friday night in a benchmark 70. Apparently you were busy. There will be a Japanese horse, though, in Satono Rev that you will see the championships in April.
Yeah, well, this is the amazing thing. The form around him keeps stacking up as well. And I suppose, Zac, Joe was, of course, on this, but his Satono Rev's come out, won a Group 1.
Yeah.
And we've got How Deep Is Your Love running in Dubai as well, who will be well found in the market, I'm sure. But it's just good to see the form stacking up all around him, and hopefully it will in Dubai as well.
Yeah, it is, and that's what you want to see with any horse of that calibre, the form stacking up around them. So Satono Rev took care of the field there in Japan. It wasn't a vintage year that they had, but he's a lightly raced horse that is just starting to find his best. And How Deep Is Love, I'm sure he'll acquit himself well in Dubai. He's an interesting one because he's a horse that can seem to get there and then not quite finish it off. He gets his head up and doesn't quite go through with it. So with the whip rules there in Dubai and James not being able to get at him properly, he probably might look the winner and then might just come up a little bit short. But he's certainly racing well, and he had to go somewhere else to try and win a race, didn't he?
That's interesting insight, isn't it? So Satono Rev will be up against Ka Ying Rising in April. Fast Network. Zach, can we ask you about Fast Network last week?
He was very impressive. I was spewing when he won because I was booked to ride him in 2 weeks' time, and they only got 6 entries. So Dennis Yip put him in late and said to me, "I'm so sorry," because I'd already had another ride. And when Huey cruised up past me, he just put us away easily. The race was run to suit him. They went fast early. He was back on the fence. He was able to track up, produce late. But this is the only I've ridden in Hong Kong probably in the last year that I sort of worry a little bit about, because he's lightly raced, on the way up. He's got a little bit more there. He might be one that we see in Dubai next year up the straight as well.
Yeah, and he's going to be a good chance, I think, if he lines up against... there's a good chance to run in the Quinella spot. I think against Helios, in terms of the time, he's only about a length off what Ka Ying did all that said, Ka Ying was eased down a long way out, but I think that second spot's up for grabs in Fast Network on that sort of performance. He ran very good time.
Helios will be saying, hang on, I booked that spot. I always run second. How dare someone else come in for that?
Talking about running second a bit this season, Zach, Galaxy Patch, can you run us through what your thoughts were on the weekend? You ended up, I suppose, after he got a bit crowded at the start, you ended up in a nice spot, and just run us through the race.
Yeah, so Pierre was very firm in his instructions and the way he wanted me to ride this horse, and just to leave him alone early, get him out the back. He wanted me to stay inside. He didn't want me tracking up 3 wide and coming outside, and he wanted me to stay inside, riding for luck. Hopefully the luck comes. Unfortunately, I got a little bit itchy and thought I could get out. I didn't think Moments in Time would stay on. I thought I could push him out of the way. And to be fair, if I was on another horse, I think I would have been able to push my way out, but Galaxy Patch turned it up a little bit. He didn't commit to the run when I wanted him to. And then Harry Bentley was able to ride me back in, and the inside horses come out, obviously badly held up, checked. Went back to the inside. I still felt like he had his chance to win, and I was disappointed in his lack of effort the last 100 metres when Straight Aaron was able to get up and nail me on the line. But there's no doubt he should have won, but I still think he had his chance to win and he gave it away. So I'd be interested to talk to Shane about this, though, because I'm trying to get Pierre to put blinkers on him, and Pierre's very reluctant to do so, mainly because the owner doesn't really want to. But I just think he's not committing everything he's got at the moment. So Pierre, he's saying, do you really want them? And I'm saying, yes, I do. And he's saying he doesn't want to put them on because the owner doesn't want them on. So we're sort of going back and forwards a little bit here at the moment. And maybe Shane can offer a little bit of insight into what he would possibly do.
He's easy to ride, Zach. All you got to do is jump out, ride him quiet and sit back down the outside. They're getting the instructions wrong going inside. He's not an inside horse because he whines. And when he quickens, he can really quicken.
What about blinkers, Shane?
So he's been on... I'm not fussed about that. I don't know. But he would have won that without blinkers if the run had come at the right time. I don't blame Zach. It was his first day back, and 3 back's always a hard position when you come out. If the run comes, it wins. If he stays in, he wins for sure, So the horse should have won, but he didn't, and I understand what Zach's saying. But if I was on him like International Day, gate 14, just, oh, my God, just sit back 4 wide, 5 wide with cover, track up around them and get him to the outside, and he'll just go boom.
Well, we saw Vincent go back to the inside that day, Zach. I mean, why is there these instructions? And we actually saw it during the week with a horse we're going to cover later on our show. It probably cost plentiful, those instructions to come out. Why do you think the instructions would be to go inside if he's timid or he doesn't want to go in amongst it?
To be fair, the track was playing a little bit inside the other day. The horses weren't able to peel and sort of swoop down the outside. So that might have had a bearing on Pierre's instructions, but he did seem to think that was the only way to ride the horse to be able to get the best out of him. So that was his opinion. Whether he's going to have a different opinion next time he races, I'm not sure. But we'll find out. But yeah, I would prefer to ride him with a set of blinkers on, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would, if I was the trainer and I had a potential Hall of Famer wants the blinkers on, I'd be putting the bloody blinkers on.
He knows a thing or two about it.
Correct. Are you booked to ride him in the Champions Mile?
I am, yeah. And let's not forget, all his early racing was in blinkers when he was very dynamic. Obviously, they took them off him to go up in distance and get him to relax. He's had a few more runs down. He seems to be a little bit more better with his ring craft. So the blinkers might help. And I just think on grand final day, if we need to find a little bit extra, I would rather try than not try and have it not work.
Good call.
And El Vencedor, you're on the Kiwi in the QE2.
Yeah, so he's a nice rider to pick up. Very honest horse. He's been racing really well in New Zealand. He trialled again last week, or it might have been earlier this week, on a pretty soft track and trialled well. But yeah, he'll get out there. You know what? He could get left alone in front. There hasn't been much speed in the races here in Hong Kong over a mile and a quarter recently, and he could give them something to chase. Yeah. You know, if Goliath comes and the Japanese come, of course, they're probably got him on ratings and what they've done, but he'll give them something to chase for a while.
Yeah, I like that positivity. And Zac, you're positive about this weekend as well. I looked at your book of rides. I thought you'd have a slightly stronger book, to be perfectly honest. It looks a fair book.
Yeah, fair is probably a kind way to put it. I might be waiting till the second half of the card to try and strike. But, you know, Super Hong Kong ran really well the other day. But he does that all the time. Many Thanks Forever. He'll be in the right spot. He'll look the winner at some stage. Beauty Viva's a little bit in and out of form. Lopan Spirit, certainly capable. Autumn Vibes, he's a lovely horse, but he hasn't been able to put it together yet. His trial the other day was a little bit below par. And the Boombox, we know him well. He's a pretty nice progressive horse.
Yeah, he is a nice. This is a trial, of course, of Autumn Vibes. I'm not a massive fan of these brow bands, but anyway.
I've actually got to give you 10 out of 10, Zac. You summed that up pretty well, all those horses.
Thanks, Shane. But Autumn Vibes, he straight up there like I thought he was going to put them away, and he's not hitting the line. So he might have a slight issue, but he's a nice horse. He's going to be a nice horse. He just hasn't put it together yet.
Okay, so that's a look at your rides on Sunday, but we might just keep you paused here with us, if we can, Zac, to look at global racing. Must be fantastic to be back at Randwick riding on one of the great days, and a day in the past that you've had unbelievable success in.
Yeah, it's been a really good race to me, and I love coming down to Randwick. It's one of my favourite tracks. It feels like being at home, and it's good to have another opportunity. It's an interesting ride to have and a horse to pick up. Obviously, the Canadian Horse of the Year, went to America and won the Breeders' Cup Fillies and Mares, and now she's down here under the Yulong banner, trained by Chris Waller, racing first up in a Doncaster, going right-handed when she's only raced left-handed her whole career. So I don't know how to measure her up. We're going to find out on the day, I suppose. Yeah,
and that wide barrier is going to make it a task, isn't it? It's all part of this whirlpool meeting, which is quite remarkable, both in Australia but also over in the UAE at Meydan as well. So from a whirlpool point of view, you've got a day of joy throughout the entire day. Yep. And that's the beauty of whirlpool, is bringing the whole world together. Yeah, and these feature races from all around the globe, so it's absolutely fantastic. And probably, is it the premier day in Sydney of the whole year? Would be, wouldn't it? Oh, it's right there. I know Shane says Slipper Day because Slipper's got day. 5 Group 1s. I would argue this is the best derby because, Shane, the 3-year-olds are fully furnished. It's the unofficial 5th major in the Doncaster. It's one of the great sprints, and then you've got an awesome 2-year-old race. It's right there eyeballing VRC Derby Day for mine. In my day, the sprint wasn't around. It was just starting, TJ Smith. That came along, I think, the late 90s. So it's got bigger as time's gone on. It wasn't even Group 1 originally. No, that's right. So I think Bentley Biscuit was one of the first ones to win it as a Group 1 with Nashua Willer on board. So, Zac, I think you start your day from a whirlpool point of view with this country championship. And you jump on board a horse for one of the good guys in racing, in Pat Murphy. I tell you what, you've ridden all around the world for the biggest owners, the biggest trainers, and you're jumping on for Paddy Murphy. Well, Paddy Murphy was actually best man at my wedding, so we're good friends. We go back a long way. He's a really good fella. He came up to Coffs Harbour, when he was an apprentice, when I was sort of still around there a little bit. So we go back a long, long way, and it's good to have a ride for him. It's good for him to have a runner in the race. I don't know how much of a chance it is, and I don't know if he's going to give me any instructions, but it's good to finally get on one for him. Well, he hit the line stylishly at Nowra in the lead up to this. That looks ideal for him. I might be getting off and saying
Thanks, Pat. That's the one and only.
You're riding in the sires as well on a horse named after me, Buffalo, for David Atkins, that finally got that maiden out of the way. So this sires is interesting. Shane's won the race 6 times. He was pretty quick to tell us.
But you told me.
Don't let
the Sires might have been the first Group 1 race that I won. I might have been the second anyway. I won it a long time ago. But yeah, Buffalo obviously has shown a little bit, finishes the races off quite strongly. 1400 looks like it was suited. It's good to get a win on the board and a little bit of confidence there. It's a strong race. He's not out of it. He's a sneaky chance.
Yeah, you won it in 2006 on a horse called Excites, and you also won it with Yankee Rose in 2016.
There you go. So it's been a good race for Zac.
There you go.
Yeah, on to be the brood mare of... what's that good horse?
Liberty
Island.
You're correct, 100%.
Run second.
Yankee Rose, the connections continue on. The TJ Smith, you don't have a ride, but then you have a ride on this Doncaster, as you just mentioned before, with Moira.
Yeah.
Hutch, how did you go about assessing, and Shane, how do you assess this for?
Well, very difficult. Look at sort of what it's done international ratings-wise, and I think it's got a little bit defined, but just hard to measure up, really. You don't know. So I think we'll find out a lot on the day. Like Zac said, there's a few variables there that make it difficult, particularly racing in that other direction. I mean, but we'll have to wait and see with the right stable. I'm sure they'll have her well prepared. I personally think there's a really good bet in the Donny. I think it's this horse, Another Will. I think Another Will is the best miler in Australia. I know the barrier's not ideal. Should have won here. Was dominant prior. Of course, last year started favourite, didn't back up. They won the prelude. I think it was the weak gap between runs that was the key. He's a very good horse. And I think with even luck and running, look, you might get $8, $9, $10 on the day about it.
Because the barrier 18.
He is a fantastic chance. And I just don't think, Zac, we talk about the Donny. There's not the big spread in the weights these days. Like top weight's 56.5.
And the bottom one's 49.
It's not the massive spread. And I think in the last 13 years, 6 horses have carried 55 or more, including a horse that you've had a fair bit of success on, Sacred Falls. So it's a race where those horses, the quality horses, can carry the weight and win.
Well, Mr. Brightside carried a bit of weight when I won on him as well.
Correct, yeah.
You're right, yeah. I don't think the handicap races in Australia are nearly as exciting in that sense as they used to be, because they're more condensed now and you don't have that big spread in the weights. But they're still great races. Like the Doncaster is the greatest rock mile in Australia, and there's a lot of chances. So it's going to be just, see how the track's riding on the day.
What have you made of her replays? I'm sure you would have had a good look at them, Zac. What have you made of her performances and how she runs?
Yeah, so obviously the mile's not going to be a problem with her. Her best form is beyond a mile, really. It's just hard to know where she's going to settle in the field, because you don't know how the Canadian-American speed in a race correlates to the Australian speed, especially over a mile at Randwick with the big field. So I don't know. Chris is really going to have to give me some feedback on how I'm going to ride her. But at the end of the day, I think he's just going to say ride her on field. Wherever she jumps, just ride. I probably think she's going to be about midfield. And she's strong, so she can come with a big sweeping run and hopefully get over the top of all of them.
Who have you got on top? You got Another Will?
Yeah, I like Another Will quite a bit. And I think you can there'll be some value around those Cornellas with 2.
Gringotts?
Gringotts is going to map well, has to be a fantastic chance.
Firestorm and Rise at Dawn's an emergency at the moment.
Yeah, if Rise at Dawn gets in, I was hoping for a little bit more cushion in the track, but he could run a bit of a race. Of course, it carries the same colours as Zac did on Brightside.
Yeah. Shane, you've won a couple of these. Who do you like?
On 3-year-olds always go well. Normally the barriers are irrelevant in this race, and Zac will tell you that. That many horses win from wide out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go linebacker, 3-year-old lightweight in form. Firestorm, who is racing really well, only has about 50 on her back, I think. And Gringotts and Another Will. I think they're the main 4. But it's an open race, and that's leaving out Tom Kidden, who's flying.
He's absolutely flying. I'm with you. I'm seeing it similarly. I just thought Gringotts and Firestorm are a great play. I'm betting Gringotts the win. Each way's Firestorm at $10, and I'm convinced I'm going to be around the mark.
You love a Quinella too.
And I love a Q as well. Hey, I did...
Sorry.
Please, go
Richo,
ahead.
quick story. Gringrocks. I tried to buy him and he failed the vet as a trial winner in New Zealand and had to come to Australia. And look at him now. He's won, 10 or 11 out of 20. But he failed the vet to go to Hong Kong after winning 2 trials.
Wow. Well, he's won 10 out of 20 and won $3.6 million. He's been a beauty and last start Group 1 winner winning the George Ryder. I did forget to get your selections for the sires, just while Zach's listening in, whether or not you're going to give Buffalo a chance.
Well, a couple of the key chances will go forward. I didn't mind Buffalo's win the other day, but he might be back in the field as well. But I think that I think Vin Rock's got a really good chance. I know Shane liked the size win here at VRC, and I think he'll put himself there for Matt Laurie. He's a nice horse, Vin Rock.
What did you think, Shane?
I like Vinrock. Gate 1, he'll box seat behind Gay's horse. I think the other 2 horses, the top 2, Rivellini or whatever it's called.
Rivellino,
and Ryan Moore's horse, that'll
Wotan.
run well. Wotan, they'll both run well. That's the slipper form, those 2. But Vinrock was very impressive, got a very nice action. He looks a good horse.
Yeah, I think Rivellino is going to, I think it can defeat Wotan in the sires. And if you are looking for a horse at a really big price, made its debut at Newcastle behind Zach's horse Buffalo. Buffalo came down the outside with an unimpeded run. Back on the inside was a colt out of Arcadia Queen by I Am Invincible out of Arcadia Queen on debut for the Hawks team. Its fixed price is around 50s or something. It had no room to go.
Okay.
And they go straight into a Group 1.
They know a thing or two.
The Hawks team, know a thing or two.
Yes.
Put that in your black book, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
This is also, keep in mind, Caulfield Racing is flying on Saturday, and John Kanga has told us, which is absolutely brilliant, their very popular Tulloch Corner members area will be delivered back this week, which is good. So
it's brilliant because with all that issue they had with the fire, they're slowly getting there and, fantastic. Get back to the races.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Zach, so good to chat to you, mates. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. It should be a great, great day. Have you got Nicole, our other member of our team, with you on this trip?
No, unfortunately not. She did try and get here. She was working very, very hard. She was very disappointed.
Must be the...
Down. I said, I don't think you need to be there.
How did she not win that battle? She wins every battle.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, don't worry.
Did you have to buy her a dress?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. She wins most battles.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for being part of the show. Good luck both on Saturday and Sunday, and it's so good to have you back.
Thanks, guys.
Good on you. There is the one and only Zac Purton. We will continue our global racing.
He's looking incredible. He's fun and he's happy. Yeah, he's ready to go. Yeah, it's a real tough race, but hard to tell you until the next race because such a good horse, you never feel that in the morning. Yeah, he won't tell you anything in the morning. He only feel good. But at the race day, he will tell you.
And what was the feedback from James yesterday, who rode him on the tour?
Every time he galloped the horse, he always happy. He always say the horse is good form. He's in good form, actually, yes. Of course, they love each other, I think. You know, you see, James gave up the Group 1 race on Tuesday and come here to gallop him on Tuesday morning. Yeah, he was beaten by the best horse in the world on the dirt, and he was the first start only on the dirt. You know, maybe it will be improved. I mean, maybe next season on the Saudi Cup. Oh, I really thanks for the horse and the owner Peter. He's a wise man. He's really wisdom and his determination very strong. And lucky he gave me, my stable, and the Hong Kong fans to let Romantic Warrior go all over the world and got some results. Most important, I really looking forward for on Saturday.
And we're all barracking for him. It's as simple as that. Romantic Warrior is going to be the headline act through our eyes on what is an amazing meeting, Dubai World Cup night. It's right on the top of my bucket list. I know, Hutch, you've been there.
Great meeting.
And there are highlights from start to finish. You will see it all on 7 Plus live and free. That is fantastic for our Australian audience, and wherever you're watching us around the world, I'm sure it will be broadcast.
But with the world as well, these Whirlpool,
brilliant.
You know, it's fantastic to have access to these races.
And Danny Schum's done just an amazing job. And Peter Lau, well done.
He's so good, Daddy. I mean, the job that he's done with Romantic, yes, you need the horse, but he's done an amazing job. And Shane, it shows the commitment with J-Mac. You know, he said, look, I'm going to give up these days. I'm going to ride him work.
Yeah, no, he knows the horse backwards. He's done an amazing job. They all have. You know, Danny's done what he's done to get him to win first up 2,000 metres, take him to Australia, take him to Japan. Like, it's just full credit. It's been the training performance probably the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so James McDonald has in effect given up 6 Group 1 rides.
Well, he probably would have won 3 of them.
Yeah, to ride
seriously
over at Meydan. And he's got 3 rides. He's got Sword Point, How Deep Is Your Love, and also Romantic Warrior. So he's with all the Hong Kong horses. There's no Australian horses racing over there.
But Richo, please, let's just tell the truth. He can win a Doncaster, a Derby and the Sprint, and he'll still make more money winning that one race in Dubai than winning those 3 big races in Australia. So he might have given up them, but he hasn't really, money-wise.
No doubting, but as you know, and you're the same, it's when you're at that level, it's not about the money. And for him, it's about the connection he's got with his horse. It's not negotiable. He'd be going around the world for half the price.
Yeah.
He loves them.
Yeah, simple as that.
And, you know, he was knocked down last time. He was beaten. He wants to go back and just put it right.
Here is the champ talking about his champ.
From my point of view, I can't see him training off at any point of that gallop anyway. He seems really well. But he's a great horse. He always works well. He loves his work. He really enjoys going past the line with his ears pricked and everyone watching him. So he seems to thrive on that sort of pressure. And, the stronger the work, the more he enjoys it. Yeah, well, such a strong renewal of the Dubai turf, and Romantic's a great horse. He'll have to be at his best, which I'm sure he will be. He always gives his best, but the Japanese are so hard to beat wherever they go. Liberty Island deserves so much respect, and she's such a fantastic racehorse, a champion racehorse for filly of her own right. And we've got Soul Rush there, we've got the locals, Nation Pride. So, and I've probably left out a couple. So, a very strong race. But we're confident we're still on the right horse, and I'm sure he'll give his best.
And there is the field, and you know that Tom Marquand has made his way back from Australia to head over there to ride as well for William Haggis. But we've seen Liberty Island try to eyeball Romantic Warrior in the past.
Yeah, well, it was in Hong Kong, so it was home ground advantage for him. Romantic was too good, but we've seen him in Dubai. He can play away.
Yeah, he can.
She's been there a couple of times. I don't think she can turn the tables. He'll be a short price favourite. He'll be hard to beat. I think the way to try and probably extract it a little bit might be in the exact or something like that. I'll take Romantic Warrior with Liberty Island, and I think the other one, Nation's Pride, from the Godolphin point of view. Just a bit of form there. I don't think you need to go too deep into it. I just hope he gets a clean run around. I think he, shows what he does. 1,800's a big. I think it's a better advantage, Shane. Romantic Warrior 1,800 than for Liberty Island. She probably would prefer a little bit further.
And also he's got a lovely gate at 9. James can just walk, take his time, work forward, get into a nice spot probably. So he's not going to be bustled early or, get into a little bit of trouble. I've got Romantic Warrior on top here. He picks himself, of course, from Liberty Island. They stand out in the race, Clint, those two.
Really interesting assessment of How Deep Is Your Love by Zac Purton earlier on in our show about, whip rules and whether he's really genuine and he gets his head up a little high. Here's James McDonald talking about him leading into the Alquoz Sprint.
Really good horse that's very consistent. So I think that's a really good thing in travelling. He doesn't really run a bad one, and he's competed against the best sprinter in the world at the moment in Ka Ying Rising. Obviously a fair way back behind him, but he's always second, third, duelling it out with Helios Express. So I think that form line's as good as any sprinting form line around. And you could safely say if Ka Ying Rising was in this field, he'd be a very short price favourite and probably winning by 4 or 5 lengths. So we're in the ballpark of where he should fit in, and I think he's a terrific hope.
Yeah, I agree. I think that form reference, we've seen the Alquoz Sprint in the past. I know Buffering, you were there the year that Buffering was able to win, and we've taken I say we as in Australia has taken some horses that have been legit. I mean, Buffering was a Group 1 star, but others have been Group 2 sprinters and been really competitive.
He's going to take a lot of beating in this race. If he's travelled well, and I can't see any reason why he wouldn't, he's an extremely good chance of taking this one out. He's performed now down the straight. We saw him do that, and I like him with his finish. 1200 straight course, yes please, with J Mac. I'm not worried about getting his head up. I think he'll run past them. I think the Cornella options are there with 5 and 11, but he's got an awfully good chance if he's travelled well.
What do you think, Shane?
I got him on top. I don't know the form as well as Clint, to be fair, for the sprint, but he's very consistent. He's racing well in Hong Kong. Hong Kong sprinters always go well there normally. He's going to run a race. He won't be far away.
Yeah, they've taken quite a few over the years, Rich, and by and large, most of them have run really well. We've had a good bit of success there. And I think How Deep Is Your Love, he is a bit of a Cape of Good Hope, in terms of when Silent Witness was around. They travelled, I think, Cape of Good Hope even to Australia to win one, to win a Group 1. So, this is a similar sort of horse. I think he'd be winning good races here, and I think it's not a strong race. It's not a strong Alquoz for mine.
What about the Dubai World Cup, which is, of course, the feature?
Yeah, I think we hope that romantic warrior form stands up and Forever Young. He'll be once again very short, and he'll be extremely hard to beat. He's the best dirt horse in the world, you'd say, and it's just a field that he really should handle, one would imagine. So I think he'll beat. Now, he might not be much odds, of course, in the Dubai World Cup, and just love to see the Japanese well represented once again. And of course, I don't like watching this replay, to be honest.
I love the trainer. I think Yoshida Yahagi is absolutely brilliant in travelling these horses. He's so good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And of course, they're restricted in terms of the numbers they can have as well, the Japanese trainers, like they are in Hong Kong. And I remember reading something about he'd like to have more horses in the yard. So he doesn't do it with a massive team like they do the rest of the world. Outside of that, look, I think there might be a little bit of value, and he's going to tip himself. Of course, the favourite.
Young.
Yeah, but I'm Forever Young, that is. But Giafalotta, we saw win the bars. I like that form.
Yeah.
I think you might get $7, $8, $9 hopefully on the night in the pools. And, the favourite's going to be tough to beat. But, it was a good win in the Vase. Shane, I mean, that horse got knocked down.
It was huge.
Picked himself up and quickened well. So he hasn't run since then. I like that form.
Yeah, well, they don't need to run, do they, Clint? They can just do it fresh all the time. We see it. We saw it the other day in Australia, first up, winning the
Dubai Honour
Stakes.
Who actually came out of that race as well.
Correct.
Yeah,
we ran second to him.
Good form.
It's unbelievable form. So it looks outstanding, doesn't it? That's our look at what should be an amazing Dubai World Cup meeting at Meydan. And you can bet, of course, through the World Pool. A quick break. We'll come back and find future winners. Let's find some future winners with our form files. Who's the sectional star or top rater?
Yeah, well, there's been a few of them, but this was a really nice debut from All's Well, of course, who, was patiently ridden early, absolutely launched late. First day at the race. It's never easy to go to the Valley and do this, but love the way in which this horse got to the line. And Shane, it looks like he's got a bit of ability, this horse. His last 200 was 10.7. That's flying.
21.82 last 4.
Yeah, I know him pretty well from New Zealand. His trials in New Zealand were very, very good. And he's a nice horse. He's going to win races for sure.
So that's All's Well. Who jumps into the sweet and defeat file? And there's some homework. I want you to start giving us the next start and 2 starts, profit on turnover, because they keep winning.
Yeah, there's a few of them are going all right. I thought Aurora Patch was really good down the straight. Charming Legend just was too negatively ridden the other day. They got a long way back and he ran on well. All's Well, sectional stars we've mentioned, and Definitive, I think he's a horse that needs to roll at a speed. The last 2 races they haven't done it. This was La Forza for Zac winning the race, but you can see there Aurora Patch is just a bit held up at a stage and sort of has to wait for Zac to go through. I thought this horse had been running well at his last couple of starts. Prior to this, he was on the wrong side down the straight 1,000 on that far side, and he placed, but he kept on well to the line here. He just had to wait to angle off heels. But look, he'll find a similar race down the straight. Love the last 100 metres from him, and he's definitely a horse. I think he's got his foot on the till.
I'll bet the Inglis Easter sales in Sydney, and G1 Goldmine is a great destination for you if you're keen to go to do all the analysis there, and the numbers simply do not lie. They'll give you the perfect match. So touch base with the team there, G1 Gold Mine. And Shane will be there as well.
Yep.
He loves fans of the show chatting to him, so please go and see him.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be there. And,
hey, but it's a tool that if
Nah,
you're going
G1
to buy
Gold Mine's
there,
awesome.
you've got to get involved. So make sure you do.
okay, idle time from the Golden Boy. It's idle time with the Golden Boy. Who caught your eye from a genius point of view?
Oh, once again, Matthew Purton. He's riding so well. He just stands out. He's following. I'll show you here why he's riding winners, right? So he's got this gate. I know he's drawn gate 4 in on Mighty Strength over 2,000. Now, the favourite in the race is the horse in front of him in the blue on the inside, right? Now, most jockeys would stay one off, and he was going to stay one off, but this wins him the race here, going to the fence to follow the favourite who looked the winner. If you follow the best horse, what you think is in the race, you always get a chance. So he's still following it here. We forward to the top of the straight. My Mission Strike didn't appreciate it being ridden close, obviously, because he didn't find much. And he just gives him a smooth ride following him in the straight. Look, still following him. And then he just pops out here. And because he saved so much energy the whole race on the fence, he just comes out and goes boom, and he wins. That's a perfect ride. That's a 10 out of 10 ride. And he didn't have to go to the fence, and a lot of jockeys would have stayed off, so he won the race here. Now watch here. Watch the steward's footage. He has a look. He goes to the inside to follow Galaxy Patch, where else he could have gone out and around. He wasn't really travelling, but he rode for luck. And when you ride for luck back in the field, it's easy. It's so much easier being 4 back the fence than 3 back, as I've stated before. And you see in the straight, Galaxy Patch is getting held up. If he had stayed to the fence, he would have won for sure. And he just gets up here on the fence and he keeps going and wins. And, of course, Galaxy Patch's momentum was gone. Yeah, he had his chance there, but when your momentum's gone, it's not easy. So he's riding really well. Now I'm watching the races at home on Wednesday night, and I'm going, Matthew, what the hell are you doing? What a disgrace. Plentiful. Why have you come off the fence? I was going to subtract points. He's got the run of the race 3rd fence. The fence is good. There was no bias on Wednesday night. A lot of winners were on the fence. And he pushes out here, which is a no-no. You're on a C+3. He gets pushed back in. This horse should have won easy. All he had to do was ride a normal race, 3rd fence, get the run. He wins by probably half a length, maybe a length, but definitely half a length. I know he's had his chance there, but the race, the other horses come out, pushed him back and won. Now, I would have subtracted points for that ride, so I get the steward's footage.
Yeah.
What happened? The trainer said he didn't want him to come to the outside. Why would you want to come to the outside when you got the best run? So there's the fact. The trainers cost a jockey a winning ride. Sometimes you don't listen. You do the right thing for your horse, and he should have won for sure, and it was the trainer's fault he got beat.
Yeah, Stuart, so the trainer's instructions, just to be clear here, were to get to the outside.
Right.
And Matthew has tried to execute that because you lose rides, you don't get the sport if you don't follow the instructions.
back in.
But what Shane's saying is 100% right. I mean, this is a difficulty as well, I think, with a lot of trainers giving the instructions. And I know that, you've got to listen to their instructions. But I tell you what, it can be costly. We heard with Zac going inside. He may have gone inside on Galaxy Patch anyway, but it definitely cost Matty Poon there on that.
Charming Legend.
Yep,
Charming Legend.
Yep.
It should have bloody won on Saturday just about, or Sunday. Or it definitely runs first 3. They dragged it all the way back to last when there was no pace in the race, and it could have been leading or second or third, and it runs in the first 3 because the trainer wanted it back. It made no sense to me, that.
So from an idle votes point of view, Matthew Poon would be high up to the top and you don't penalise him.
3. No, not for that, because it's not his fault.
Yeah.
And he's riding so well. Andre Assini's riding sensational. He's showing initiative in races, and that South Star, that gets back. There wasn't a lot of pace on paper. Those boys I gave the points to all did a good job. Derek Lung did a really good job rating that horse, and then he followed the horse of John Sizes, the odds-on favourite, the whole way, and got up and beat it on the line, the one that lays in with Chewy Road. I forget its name.
Right.
Hey, Shane, did you ever listen to instructions?
No.
No.
No, why would you? I've just showed you 3 examples there where trainers got it wrong, and if they hadn't, the horses would have won.
Just ask the question.
Coming up, Best Bets. Best bets, Hutch?
Yep, a couple of nice bets on the card. I think this horse ran quite well on debut. Firstly, Sky Jewel is in the last. He'll be short. He should be very hard to beat. But Top Throne was the one that ran well on debut. It was wide without cover. Comes through a key form reference with Mount Everest. I think you throw Mount Everest in the Quinella with the 5 as well. So 9 bankable 2-5. But could be another nice progressive horse for David Hayes, Top Throne.
Okay, interesting there. Golden Boy, who do you like?
I'm backing up again. I went 2 weeks ago and he probably should have won at $13. He's definitely not going to be $13 this week. I'll go Beto in race 4. He's going to be very hard to beat.
Okay, enjoy the racing on Saturday, Shane, but also importantly, enjoy the sales. You'll be bumping into lots of people from the industry.
Can't wait to see you, Richo. Oh, the one I want to see.
Hey, yeah, you got to buy them the lobster and mango. Maybe it's your shout in Sydney. You can take
there's
Shane
no
out for the
lobster out at Warwick Farm, I can assure you. I hope you enjoyed the show. Look forward to your company again next week. Enjoy all the great racing around the world through the Whirlpool.
Good luck.